الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أكرمه بالنبوة وجعله رحمة للعالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، وصل على وصيه وأخيه أمير المؤمنين وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، وصل على سبتي الرحمة الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم المهدي حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا سقما إلا شفيته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا رزقا إلا بسطته ولا خوفا إلا أمنته ولا سوءا إلا صرفته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولي فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
As you know, this Monday, January 20th, is called a national day of civil rights, a day of human rights, a day to honor Martin Luther King. So this is a federal holiday for a man who was assassinated in 1968. He was only 39 years old. When we talk about Martin Luther King, it's not about one person. It is about a path. And we as followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are very familiar with this path. From the istishhad of Sayyid al-Mujahideen wal-Muttaqeen Amir al-Mu'mineen, his martyrdom in Masjid al-Kufa, to the martyrdom of his son Sayyid al-Shuhada wal-Ahrar Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. We are familiar with millions of victims of injustice, war, terrorism, and assassination in the last 1400 years. Martin Luther King was a shining star of justice in this country, who focused on four fundamental problems: racism, poverty, materialism, and militarism. He was arrested 29 times. Yes, there was a time in this country that he was victim of propaganda. But he never gave up, and he spoke for the weak, as he said. He said, we have to speak for the weak, for the voiceless, and for the victims. When we bring this concept in the Quranic atmosphere, there are 319 verses in the Quran about justice and injustice, al-adl wa dhulm. If you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was by United Nations in 1948, there are only 30 verses, 30 articles in this Universal Declaration of Human Rights talking about justice and standing against aggression and violation of human rights. 30 articles compared to 319 articles in the Quran about the same subject. Al-adala, al-adala al-qawliya, al-adala al-fi'liya, al-shakhsiya, al-adala al-ailiya, al-adala al-ijtimaiya, al-adala al-siyasiya, العدالة الاقتصادية، العدالة الأخلاقية. العدل هو إعطاء كل ذي حق حقه. That anything and anybody receives the rights that they deserve. العدل حياة، العدل فضيلة، العدل جنة، العدل بركة، Al-adlu ra'sul iman. So there is no shortcomings when it comes to promotion of the concept of justice in our traditions. Look at these 10 fundamental Quranic expressions about justice. Number one, the Quran says justice is a commandment. Inna Allah ya'muru. This is an amr. This is a divine commandment. قُلْ أَمَرَ رَبِّي بِالْقِسْطِ. Number two, justice is a central element of piety. اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. If you want to be muttaqin, be pious, then be fair. Number three, justice is the main mission of all the messengers. لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. That was their message. Number four, justice is an obligation of every faithful. كُونُوا قَوَّامِينَ بِالْقِسْطِ. Number five, justice is the main axis of any judgment. وَإِذَا حَكَمْتُمْ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ أَن تَحْكُمُوا بِالْعَدْلِ. Number six, justice is the foundation of God's message. وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا. Truth and justice. Number seven, the Quran tells us that you have to demonstrate justice in your talk, in your walk, in any expression. وَإِذَا قُلْتُمْ فَعْدِلُوا. When you say it, when you write it. وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ كَاتِبٌ بِالْعَدْلِ. So justice must be demonstrated in every expression, intention, and action of a faithful. Number eight, justice at the level of the family life. وَلَوْ عَلَى أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوْ الْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ. The Quran says that if justice hurts your family, your parents, your relatives, doesn't matter. Stay with justice even if that hurts you and hurts the ones that you love. Number one, justice, even about your enemies. If justice helps your enemies, still you have to stay with it. Doesn't matter. It may hurt you, it may help your enemy. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنَ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا. And number 10, the Quran says, you want to be a person beloved with your Lord, then promote justice, because إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. He loves the people who promote fairness and justice. Brothers and sisters, this issue is one of the main roots of tragedies that you are experiencing in this world. Injustice and oppression are the main reasons of any other problems in human life, today, yesterday, in any circumstances. I was watching part of this, there is a new movie, it's in Netflix by this Netflix group. It's called Messiah. Probably some of you have seen Messiah. It's 10 segments. It takes probably 10 hours to watch the whole thing. But you don't have to go to the cinema. You can have it on your cell phone or your computer and watch it. It's interesting that the guy that is a Messiah, acts as a Messiah, his real name is Mahdi. And he was born in Tunisia, he was born in Europe. And in movie shows that like he's from Iran, I mean in the movie format. He's not, but looks like if there's going to be a Messiah, it should be from that area. But it's very interesting that when you watch this movie, you realize that how much oppression, how much injustice, how much torture, how much pain, how much suffering that poor people are going through. The Messiah coming to United States and then in Palestine, and is just showing the CIA and Mossad working together. And it is so horrible, it's just so frightening. But in reality, it's not a movie. We see it every day in the news. But they put it in the movie format. But this is the reality of life. That millions of people are suffering and under injustice and occupation. And all those evil forces, they are irresponsible and carelessly target them. It's good that they made it like a movie. It shows the injustice in political form, in economic form, in moral form, in social forms, and all these kinds of injustice. And when you see injustice in a society, that people do not receive their rights in economy and any other areas, in education and social rights, then things get crazy. You know, when people are poor because of injustice in their society, كَادَ الْفَقْرُ أَن يَكُونَ كُفْرًا. Imam Ali is saying, أَرْبَعَةٌ قَلِيلُهَا كَثِيرٌ. There are 4 things that even a little of it is too much. الْفَقْرُ وَالْوَجَعُ وَالْعَدَاوَةُ وَالنَّارُ. Poverty is too much, even if it is not too much. Poverty, pain, fire. And you see now in Australia, somebody started from maybe 1 spark and now out of control. So in the beginning it's qaleel, is 1 spark, but when it starts, destroy the world. And al-adu, the enmity, the hostility, that even قليله كثير. And we can see this reality. When people are poor, they lose their religion, they lose their intellect, they lose their judgment, they lose their common sense. You see a country like Iraq. There was a madman for 8 years involved this country that was one of the most prosperous country in the Middle East and made it the poorest country after 8 years of war. And as Saddam gone, an occupation came. How you can make a country prosperous under invasion. So it took them many years to figure out, to have a parliament, to have a government. And then in 2014, the same person who is the Prime Minister of Iraq, Adil Abdul Mahdi, he was the Minister of Oil at that time. A wise man, he thought that we have all this oil. We need to exchange it with technology. We need to exchange it with prosperity for our people, with construction. So he was about to start some movement that how we can give oil but get technology and construct our country, build our country again. He was thinking about this. ISIS started. For 3-4 years, ISIS again stop everything. You cannot do anything when those barbarians are beheading people. You have to mobilize people and fight ISIS. Then ISIS over, the same person became the Prime Minister of Iraq. He went to China and had a comprehensive agreement with the Chinese that we as Iraqis, we give you oil, but we need to construct our country, we need technology. And they made a fair agreement. The man is thinking that create job for my people, to bring prosperity to my country. He is back from China, demonstration on the streets of Baghdad. How this happened all by chance? It's just like accident. Demonstrations all over, we need job, we need money, we need prosperity. And the guy said, that's exactly the same reason that I made this trip. Give us some time, give us some chance. No, they forced him to resign. Okay. Before this resignation, he thought that now ISIS is defeated. We have this al-Hashr al-Sha'bi. Let us recruit it in the army so we make a strong Iraqi army. And he was working on it. Right away, the bases of al-Hashr al-Sha'bi under the Israeli bombardment. Well, now the guy cannot continue that. Making a fitna between the government and al-Hashr al-Sha'bi, that, you see, you are with the Israeli now. They are bombing us. What are you doing? You see how devil works and then continues this fitna and this tragedy. The guy thought that, well, now because of the Saudi and Iran tension, let us do something, remove this tension. And then we have a bit more peace in Iraq, we have more peace in the Middle East, and we can continue with the construction of country. He's thinking about this, and he's inviting that general and Iraqi general. They are starting a traffic to make some diplomacy, some dialogue, and solve the problem. Exactly at the same time, those people who are instruments of bringing diplomacy and dialogue are bombed and are killed. So that's what I'm saying, that if you see the movie of Messiah, it's not a movie. This is exactly what is happening. Lebanon, the same thing. Are thinking that, we want to kill this dignity, this integrity. People shouldn't talk. And if we put economic pressure, they give up. It's the same logic of munafiqeen. هم الذين يقولون لا تنفقوا على من عند رسول الله حتى ينفذوا ولله خزائن السماوات والأرض ولكن المنافقين لا يفقهون يقولون لئن رجعنا إلى المدينة ليخرجن الأعز منها الأذل ولله العزة ولرسوله وللمؤمنين ولكن المنافقين لا يعلمون. So they are saying that don't pay to the Prophet and his companions. Let this sanction kill them. And if we get the power, we destroy the izzah, we destroy that izzah, destroy their dignity and integrity. They don't know that their dignity and integrity coming from divine, they cannot destroy it. يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بأفواههم. No, you cannot turn the light of heaven off with your mouth. Those manarat of Jabal Amel. Now we are talking about one Martin Luther King. How many Martin Luther King in Jabal Amel? منارات العلم والإيمان والطهر والتقى والإرشاد والإصلاح والتعليم والتربية والتأليف والصبر والمقاومة والعزم والإرادة والصدق والإصلاح والإخلاص والخشوع والتواضع والتضحية والفداء والدعوة إلى الصلح الدعوة إلى الوحدة. We had all these shining lights of hope and humanity and hard work and sacrifice and faith and piety and sincerity, wisdom and knowledge and resistance for the sake of justice and humanity. We have a great history of Martin Luther King's brothers and sisters, but we don't appreciate that. When Abu Ala Ma'arri, he made a Sharif al-Murtada. Abu Ala was not religious, he didn't believe in any religion. A secular philosopher. They said, what did you see? You met with a Sayyid al-Murtada, a Sharif al-Murtada for 1 hour. Give us your impression. You know what Abu Ala said? He said, رأيته ورأيت الناس في رجل والدهر في ساعة والأرض في دار. Subhanallah. When I met with this man, look like I see the entire planet in one place, an entire people in one person, and the entire history in 1 hour. This is Ash-Sharif al-Murtada. And this is why, brothers and sisters, we must protect the heritage that we receive from these shining lights, that their mission was to protect our faith, our families, to tell us prayer matters, as-salat, as-sawm, as-zakat, al-ibadah, al-khitmah, al-ihsan. These issues matters. It's not an accident that, you know, there are promotion for drugs in our community and corruption in Muslim societies. Because they know when somebody deals with drugs, how this person is going to care about the values. You know, there is a maqbara, there is a cemetery here close to us in the House of Wisdom in Ann Arbor Trail, Westland. And it's almost full. The maqbara is full, the cemetery is full. And many of them are youth, young generations from our community. That many of them died out of drugs or other addictions or whatever other problems. It's time that we honor those heritage and say enough is enough. We are calling some law enforcement and from police department next Friday to have a meeting about these drugs in the community. Not that FBI or police department, law enforcement, they cannot do our job. They are just dealing with it, in technical, legal way. But this is our duty as families, as mosque and school, as community, as every individual, to be responsible and act responsibly. How can we save our youth, their faith, their heritage, the legacy? If we want to be successful as a community, we must focus on family and faith. Faith values and family values are the ones that can save us and can make us successful. Even when one of the child from our community may be in the Congress tomorrow, you never know. When he is go there, when she is there, should have the values, learn from the family, how to be honest, how to be courageous, how to serve people, how to be responsible, how to be careful. Because now we have a president that now there is impeachment, in the Congress. The whole thing about whether he was honest or not, isn't it very fundamental value that you learn in your family, to be honest, not to abuse your power, not to stand against justice? Starting this Tuesday and maybe taking for 2 weeks, we are going to have lots of news about this impeachment now. And it's interesting that the senators yesterday, 100 of them, they took oath to stand for justice. And this is really a big test, not just for Trump. This is a test for America. This is a test for our Constitution. This is a test for American conscience. This is a test for Congress and all those people, how they deal with this matter. Something good that in our country we have check and balance. It's very good. We don't have it in Egypt or in many of those areas, Saudi Arabia. But the problem is that despite of all this check and balance, still Vietnam happened, still invasion of Iraq happened, still Yemen is going on. How come? How come that congressmen, they are very careful that Trump just delayed the budget to Ukraine just for like few weeks, that they did not get the budget? That is the biggest crime. And all this impeachment, that why you stopped sending the money, why you send it late. This brings entire president in impeachment. But what about those who voted for invasion of Iraq? Is there any accountability for that? For those who started the war in Vietnam that caused the destruction of over 50,000 American soldiers. Yeah, it's Ukrainian, you deal with that, but you miss the lot of big things. So we hope that as a heritage, not only from Martin Luther King, but the heritage that we have in our history of standing for truth and justice and for peace, we can deal with these matters. We can bring this wisdom in our country to stand against dishonesty, against deception, against wrong propaganda, against warmongering, against assassination, against illegal stuff that's going on. Why you are making all this mischief in all this country? Poor Lebanese now, that's a tragedy for the Lebanese lira. You cannot even send money over there now because you lose half of the money if you want to send it through the sarraf and other thing. The only way is just you take some money with your pocket and take it to Lebanon, and then you are not sure that what's going to happen. All this insecurity going on, scares in people to even travel, but then the poor people have to continue to suffer over there. They made all this crisis for people, out of their crimes. Somehow this nation must stand up for peace. They don't like it because if there is peace, they don't have business. They have to make war in Iran, in Iraq, in Yemen. All of these things is just a business. Now they are saying 11 American soldiers were injured and they were taken to other countries, because so far till yesterday we heard that nobody injured, just some property damages. Now, so 11 American soldiers, the injury was to the level that they had to take them to other countries. And we don't know who was. And we don't want the American soldiers to be injured because they are poor people. Those soldiers, they don't want war. They are used for this greedy money-making, power-making, because it's all about greed and power and money. And they are victims. We don't want that for those poor soldiers, and we don't want it for Iraqis or Iranis or Yemenis. But they are making this war over there because that's a big business, haram business, evil business. People have to give up their blood so they can make money out of that. There should be a situation that people stand for values. They said, we want peace. The solution is not war. The solution is not assassination. The solution is not terrorism. The solution is not violence. The solution is justice. The solution is peace. The solution is wisdom, with dialogue and diplomacy, not attack and destruction. They should send this message to those hypocrites. Mike Pompeo said he sent a prayer for Ayatollah Sistani. Now he cares that Ayatollah Sistani is wounded, and Secretary of State said, I pray for Ayatollah Sistani. Of course, we all pray for Ayatollah Sistani. But what happened? That you just, last week you made him angry with all this assassination, that he issued that bayan, that statement, that he was extremely angry. So please be fair. He doesn't need your prayer, but he doesn't need to be angry because of your attack either. Stop attacking and stop praying, then things are okay. Or if you want to pray, pray. If you are mustajab al-da'wah, no problem. But at least don't make Ayatollah Sistani angry. So brothers and sisters, yes, this Monday is the day of Martin Luther King. He stood for justice. And I told you there are 319 verses in the Quran about justice and injustice. I mentioned only 10 verses today, but there are much more than those 10 verses. And this is something that we have to raise our families and generation, that our children stand for fairness. We teach them to be fair, to teach them to be honest, and to teach them to stay away from drugs and alcohol and adultery and corruption and destruction, and teach them the lesson of piety and patience and taqwa, inshallah. This is the man who said injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A very famous and shining statement from Martin Luther King, that yes, anywhere in the world injustice happen, whether in Middle East or Africa or Asia, that is a threat to justice anywhere else in this planet. Allahumma inna nashku ilayka faqda nabiyyina wa ghaybata waliyina wa kathrata aduwina wa shiddat al-fitan bina fasalla ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammadin wa a'inna ala dhalika بفتح منك تعجله ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تظهره برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.